Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is going to revisit its lows, it's not going to, in my opinion, have to do with a new fraud, a new this or new that. Even with Binance, the markets has kind of digested the chance that what the SEC has claimed is true. It would be too easy for all of these big companies just to file for the ETFs on the spot market and just get right through. It's not horrible news. It's not great news, but it's not horrible. I think the term used was inadequate. Ultimately, longer term, there's no doubt that having spot ETFs that are brought to the market by Fidelity or by BlackRock, that's a positive. That's a net positive.
Hello and welcome to Crypto Street, where we bring you the latest and most intriguing stories from the world of cryptocurrencies. In today's video, we'll be unraveling the secrets of Bitcoin's future. But before we jump into that, let's take a look at some recent developments in the cryptocurrency market. Ethereum started the month of July on a positive note, with its price reaching a 2-month high. The rebound was triggered by better-than-expected consumer sentiment data in the United States, which reassured traders. Bitcoin also saw a recovery after briefly dipping below $30,000 on Friday. On June 26, 2023, the number of Bitcoin-based ordinal inscriptions surpassed 14 million, just 6 days after exceeding 13 million. Inscription activity has continued to rise since then. In addition to text, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and fungible BRC20 tokens, ordinal inscription technology has ushered in a new naming standard called SATS names, built on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. The Australian Crypto Association has called for a unified effort to combat scams in the cryptocurrency industry. South Korea has passed a crypto bill aimed at addressing unfair trading practices. After climbing by over 20% on Friday, Litecoin extended gains to start the weekend, surging to its highest point in over a year. The move comes as momentum surrounding the token's listing on EDX markets continues to grow. Dogecoin also recorded a strong start to the day. Non-fungible token NFT sales saw a slight decline of 4.3% in June 2023 compared to the previous month. The total sales volume decreased from $739.50 million in May to $707.70 million in June. Ron DeSantis, the Republican governor of Florida and a presidential candidate, expressed his support for eliminating several federal agencies if elected. Among the entities mentioned were the U.S. Departments of Education, Commerce, and Energy, as well as the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. This stance reflects his broader political platform and calls for limited government intervention. Jay Clayton, the former chair of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, shared his perspective on the enforcement strategy of U.S. regulators. Clayton raised concerns about the SEC's approach of bringing numerous cases to court against U.S. corporations, highlighting potential issues with this approach at a high-level strategic standpoint. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has deemed the filings for spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETFs, as inadequate. Now let's begin our enlightening discussion with Gareth Soloway.
So I think the biggest takeaway is initially we saw Bitcoin fall sharply, right? It went from around 31,000 back to 29.5, but it's kind of come back to settle in that $30,000 range. And I think what we take away from this is that it's not horrible news. It's not great news, but it's not horrible. I think the term used was inadequate, right? So that doesn't mean they're not shutting it down. They're saying we need more information, or we need you to do more due diligence, or give us whatever we need. And then it seems like they're open at least to it getting through. From what I know, with at least the legalities between the SEC and Coinbase, they're filing not with Bitcoin specifically, it's with other things. So it's with the altcoins, right? The ones that they're claiming are securities. So maybe that also leaves a small door open. I think, honestly, I always look at price action, and price action has been pretty muted, right? I mean, you had the initial reaction.
The United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has temporarily halted several ETF filings from companies such as BlackRock, ARK Invest, and Fidelity, citing incomplete paperwork. The SEC has stated that these filings lack sufficient disclosure regarding the exchange partner and surveillance sharing agreements. Jay Clayton, the former chair of the SEC, has expressed concerns about the current enforcement strategy of U.S. regulators. He believes there has been a fundamental shift in bringing many cases to court, even if they are not expected to succeed. Clayton argues that agencies with state power should only pursue cases and establish rules that they believe will withstand judicial scrutiny. Clayton has also pointed out that state agencies may feel pressure to lose cases in court as a measure of fulfilling their regulatory role, which can create difficulties for companies involved in these legal battles. Cameron Winklevoss, co-founder of Gemini, a U.S.-based cryptocurrency exchange facing an SEC lawsuit, has highlighted Clayton's statements, criticizing what he perceives as an abuse of power by the SEC under current chair Gary Gensler. Clayton has previously advocated for a more nuanced approach to enforcement actions by the SEC. These discussions reflect the ongoing debates about regulatory practices and striking the right balance between protecting investors and fostering innovation in the cryptocurrency industry.
Ultimately, longer term, there's no doubt that having spot ETFs that are brought to the market by Fidelity or by BlackRock, that's a positive. That's a net positive. I mean, we're talking about a year to a year and a half away. The crypto market barely can focus on a week to 2 weeks away. And so how do you, when you talk to crypto investors, when this is so far away, do they stick around? What if, and again, this is my bear case, right, for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is going to revisit its lows, it's not going to, in my opinion, have to do with a new fraud, a new this or new that. Even with Binance, the markets has kind of digested the chance that what the SEC has claimed is true. But the bigger question is, if you look at what's going on with the stock market and just the relentless upside action we've been seeing in certain stocks, let's say we do all of a sudden get a corrective move in stocks of 10, 20, 30%. How does that then affect Bitcoin and the crypto markets if you see a run for safety? Because I don't think at this point yet we have Bitcoin is certainly not a safe haven yet. All right. We saw a little bit glimpse of that during the banking crisis earlier this year, but it's really still been trading as a risk asset.
After falling below the $30,000 level during Friday's session, Bitcoin BTC rebounded on Saturday. However, sentiment was still somewhat bearish. Following a high of $31,093.98 on Friday, BTC/USD dropped to an intraday low at $29,600.28 as the session progressed. However, the price is now trading at $30,444.75 as bulls move to buy the dip, pushing BTC higher to start the weekend. As per the chart, the rebound came as the Relative Strength Index, RSI, found a floor at the 63.00 mark. The index is now tracking at 65.64 and seems to be heading for a resistance point around the 70.00 level. A collision with this target will likely result in Bitcoin once again moving above $31,000. On the other hand, Ethereum ETH was largely bullish to start the weekend, with price surging to a 2-month high. ETH/USD has peaked at $1,945.27 so far on Saturday, which comes a day after falling to a low at $1,831.28. As a result of this rally, the world's second-largest cryptocurrency jumped to its strongest point since May 6. One of the reasons for this move was a breakout, which saw the RSI move past a ceiling at the 58.00 point. As of writing, it appears that this break may have been false, and the index is now at a reading of 58.17, giving up earlier gains. That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.